Hey, this is Samar Newsome, and we're back for the Musician Shed podcast. I got a very special guest with me, my friend Carrie Compere.
Yay!
Welcome, Carrie.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for coming.
Absolutely. Of course, I was going to do this with you. What?
This the homie from back in the college days.
Let's not even talk about it.
All that craziness days. We got stories, but we won't share any of those stories.
No, none of them.
All right. So, but I want you to introduce yourself to the people.
Okay.
I mean, I could talk all about you, but of course you can tell us more. There's probably stuff I don't even know.
Oh
but
my gosh.
Tell us about who Carrie is and.
Well, Carrie is born in Southern California, but raised
Westminster,
in New
California?
Jersey. You know it. Oh, yeah, that's a story in and of itself. But raised in Trenton, New Jersey. So Trenton is home for me. And New Jersey has been home for me for a very, 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 very long time. I'm married for 26 years.
Woo.
We have two beautiful children, Isaiah and Numa. And I'm a performer. I act and I sing and I try to do a little, 5, 6, 7, 8 every now and then. Okay. I'm a strong mover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, I mean, you're an incredible singer.
Thank you.
Of course, I got to perform with you in college.
Yeah.
We met in college, and but over the years, like you've gotten into some big things.
Yeah.
I remember going to see you on tour.
Oh yes. Mm-hmm.
So tell us about. First of all, what was your goal when you went to college? Mm-hmm. What was your goal professionally, and what were you trying to go for at that time?
To be honest with you, I don't even know. I didn't know then what I was trying to do. I just knew it was the thing to try to get into school. If you can go to school, I really had no plans of getting into entertainment at all. I always wanted to be a lawyer because I had so many family members that needed lawyers.
One second. We're gonna pause.
Okay.
Because something's jumping in the screen.
Uh-oh.
I don't want that. How do you know that? I saw it.
Yeah.
Out my eye.
It's peripheral.
Yeah.
It's peripherals.
It's one of these things. Let me just close all of these guys.
Okay.
That's all right. Well, hey.
Well, yeah. The power of the podcast.
Hopefully that's it. Let me see. He said, how'd you know?
Because I didn't see nothing move.
I saw something jump. And I saw it a couple times. I was like, something's jumping. But I could just close these things. I think I got it. Just back. Something just wants some attention. When you don't have an assistant, you just gotta do it.
Listen.
All right. And so, how did you get into? So, yeah, you were saying. Let me just wipe my brow.
No, you're fine.
You were saying that you didn't know you wanted to get into entertainment.
Yeah, so. I actually was living after I graduated from high school. I went through something.
Okay.
And so I was just like, I need to get out of here. So I went to California to stay with my grandmother. I was out there with her for a while. And God just did amazing things out there. And I just came home to visit and surprise my mom one summer. And while I was out, I came back to New Jersey. And while I was back here, there was a woman named Sue Ellen Page who had a group called Trenton Children's Chorus that I used to tutor for after school. And she was like, Carrie, what are you doing? And I was like, well, I just enrolled in community college. Is that thing getting you?
It's a fish. Let me close this fish.
It's a fish.
We're going to pick up on the community college. So,
okay.
So tell us about Sue Ellen Page.
Yeah. So tell us.
And that ain't even something I use.
Oh, the fish was jumping.
Fish are jumping.
Mm-hmm. Cotton is high.
All right, hopefully the fish stays away, but
yes.
We're gonna keep going.
If you see that fish one more time, we're gonna smack it.
All right, so we'll say that again.
Yes.
So you said you didn't know that you wanted to be in entertainment. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So when I actually went to college, I just needed something to do. And it was suggested to me by a woman that I used to work for her program. It was an after school program that she had. It was called Trenton Children's Chorus. Okay. I believe it's still in existence. She has since passed. Her name was Sue Ellen Page, and she was wonderful. Is it still?
It's gonna be on there. It's just gonna be on there. It's just a fish. It's gonna be a fish every now and then. Just jump in.
But while I was home visiting, she said, Carrie, why don't you audition for this music school? I think you'll be great. And I was just like, okay. I was like, I don't have any money for school or anything. She was like, don't worry about it. We'll figure it out. Long story short, I auditioned for Westminster Choir College. I had never heard of it before. It was not on my radar. I know. I think most of the people that I went to school with, especially the us's, our people, they were just like, I just kind of dropped into this. But I auditioned for it and I got in. And then I worked like a fiend, like just going and trying to get financial aid and all the things. So I had no real like goal in terms of like what I wanted to do. I just knew I needed to do something. And while I was there is when I met my husband, and I did not finish at Westminster, but it definitely planted a seed for music and for performance in me that I had not really tapped into at that point. I did a little bit of singing while I was in high school, but it was nothing that I really saw myself doing.
Right.
And then after I left Westminster, I worked, because me and my husband, we started out very young, as you know. We had our children very young. We got married very young, and so we had to work. I worked in dental offices and for schools and main offices and all the things. And then we got an offer to move to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and to work for a church. And my husband was the MD there. And while we were there, I got involved in community theater, and that was like that was the thing. Yeah,
ignited you.
Yeah, I was just like I remember we did a production of Ain't Misbehaving, and me and Jerry were driving home one night. He was like, "Babe, you got to do this. Like you got to do this." And I was like, "Okay." We ain't got no money. We don't have no resources really, but we got the Lord, and we're going to make it happen. And then I became intentional about making that happen. And then Broadway, TV, commercials, like crazy, national tours. Yeah.
So I think some people, first of all, I mean, like, I didn't know what I wanted to do as a producer. I knew I wanted to be a producer. I decided that a long time ago because I was like, who makes the money? Right. I was like, the artists don't make the money. Right. But even with that, the artistry, like I didn't really know I wanted to go to school for music. Sure. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, I met you at Westminster, but I didn't start at Westminster. I started at Rutgers at Mason Gross. And I just, honestly, my brother was at Rutgers. Right. They had like a whole movement at Rutgers at the time. And I was just like, yo, I'm going to just rock
Might as
this.
well.
Yeah. And it was cool. But musically, it was just like, I don't want to say it was advanced. It wasn't really catered to like singers. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm a singer first, and I was learning to play piano at the time. But I didn't know how to read music. Yeah. And I didn't know none of that stuff. Yeah. And so when I got to Rutgers, they were like a bunch of band people in there. They would read music all their life.
Their whole life.
I'm like, how y'all know how to do this?
Right. Exactly.
And so I had gotten into Westminster, and I was like, halfway through the first semester, I was like, man, this ain't working. No, I think I need to go to Westminster, or at least try it. And so I ended up calling Janet. Janet, do you think you can get me in? She's like, yeah, we could get you in. Like, you want to come? Yeah. So I went, and I just drove up there one day, and then next day I know I was in the school.
You in the school, I'm in
the school, and they made it happen.
And I think for me, I don't know if this was your experience as well, but for me, I just didn't know that this was an option. Right. Like I didn't grow up knowing that this. You see people on TV, you see artists, you see musicians all the time. We listen to their records or whatever, but I just did not know that was a thing that could be real for me. Yeah. And I think that when you talk about not being able to read music and stuff like that, there were a lot of those resources for me. I don't know, I can't speak for everyone, but for me, that just wasn't tangible. when I was growing up.
Yeah.
It wasn't something that, because I visited some predominantly white schools and I've seen their music programs and how they're set up.
Yeah.
And they're set up to, like, these kids are reading music. They're learning technique. A lot of stuff is based in classical music. They have a breadth of and a wealth of resources and knowledge, and for me, although I wasn't into music like that in high school, it just was never anything that I felt was like placed before me as an option. I didn't start reading until I got to Westminster Choir College. I didn't really know about classical training until I got to Westminster. That wasn't so, and I played violin in elementary school, so I knew where middle C was on I knew where but as far as it being a thing that I knew that, this is an option for you. Like, if you really want to be a performer or whatever, like, you can make this happen. We live an hour away from New York City.
Right.
I don't remember going to New York when I was younger. We really didn't go to New York. And my parents, they were working middle class people, so they didn't have time to get on a train and go to New York. But I'm less than an hour from Broadway from everything, and from this like full, rich cultural experience that I didn't really have access to until I got older. And I think that's why it's important that we give this to our kids now so that they know you don't have to do this, but this is an option.
It's an option.
You can do it.
You said that thing about New York. I mean, my dad was from New York, so my mom hated New York though. So she was like, no. She hated driving in New York. So we would go to New York because she had family in New York. My dad had family in New York, so we would go. But she hated it. She hated like just driving. It was crazy traffic.
Of course.
So, but it's crazy you mentioned that. So, but Westminster again was a great starting place. I thought so. And it's crazy when you left. We knew you could be whatever you wanted to be. You were killing it back in Westminster. But one of the things that I remember running into you in the city. I don't know if you remember this.
Okay.
I was doing a recording session for someone, this guy named, I forgot the guy's name, but I was doing a recording session playing piano on some songs. And I saw you in the city.
Okay, you gotta.
And you were like coming from like dance lessons or something like that.
Yeah, probably. My God, hustling.
Yeah, hustling. And I was just like, yo, this girl is out here hustling. And it was crazy because again, sometimes, when one thing don't work out, which school is school. Yeah. But you people don't always pivot. And that's one of the things I was talking to my mentor on with the podcast is like pivoting is so important. Absolutely. Because things change. The climate changes. So how did you get so deeply involved? Because you ended up like studying and doing your due diligence to really be good at getting into Broadway. So.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, because, a lot of times when you do shows, you do talkbacks and people have all the standard questions like, where did you go to school? And, and I don't have any formal training in what I do. Like I said, I went to Westminster for a year and a couple of months, I think, and had to leave there. But as far as like what I actively do as a performer right now, I don't have any formal training. And I knew that at the time I didn't have the monies to like go to NYU or study at a drama conservatory or whatever. I just didn't. We had a family that we were raising, so I was like, "What? Yes, I already had my kids on my hip, and my husband, and we were hustling, and what I did do was like I found out about workshops and intensives and things that were specifically catered toward the thing that I needed to learn. Right. Like I knew I wanted to learn how to do on-screen performing. So let me go find somebody that's teaching an on-screen class. Right. I want to know how to do commercial voiceover. So let me find where that class is and like go to these classes. Another super duper helpful thing for me was that I was blessed to get representation early on. Yeah. So I had a manager and an agent very early on in my career who helped to, my manager especially, who I'm still with, helped to sort of guide and put me in places in connection with people that she knew that were doing classes and things like that. So for me, the hustle was, I was like, I want to do this and I want to be great at this. And I know I need to learn. I know I need to glean. And then the other thing is that, and I thank God for this. I talk about God a lot because I'm a believer, and I know that a lot of what I do is due to the fact that God has been an active source and resource in my life. And another thing had been that I would book these jobs and work with like these phenomenal people with names. And I learned how to sit and be quiet
and listen
and
learn.
listen and observe and glean and be like, yo, okay, I see them moving like this or da 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 da. You know, I remember one day, it was my first Broadway show. It's called Holler If You Hear Me, directed by Kenny Leon.
That's the Tupac one?
That's the Tupac one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was
it was short-lived.
That was a good one.
It was short-lived. It was a good one, man.
It was a good idea.
It was a good idea. And I, you know, maybe one day it'll swing back around. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I remember, so Kenny Leon is friends with everybody.
And Kenny Leon is huge.
Yeah, he's
If you
huge.
don't know him,
He's huge.
You ain't got Broadway in your
Look him
spirit.
up. Google him.
He's serious.
But he had Denzel Washington is really great friends with him. And so Denzel was doing because Kenny, we put the show up and we were like in the show, and at the same time Kenny was also directing.
He's always doing other shows.
I mean,
like
that's how you got to set it up.
That's
the way you got to do it.
That's a hustle.
And
right
he
there.
was directing A Raisin in the Sun right down the street from us, which Denzel was starring in. So Denzel came to our show and he came backstage and somebody was like, Denzel's in the building. And I said, I don't care. Everybody doing, oh my God, Denzel. I was like, I don't care. I'm going to find this man and I'm going to talk to him.
This guy.
I'm going to go see him. And I found him somewhere in the building. And he sat there and talked to me.
Wow.
And like, he let me ask him whatever I wanted to ask him. It was moments like that where I was just like, you know, like God just giving me opportunities to hear from people that do this thing. One of my pastors used to say, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Absolutely. Right.
And so for me, it was just about, it was taking the classes and stuff like that. But also when you have the opportunity to work with people that are smarter than you, that know more than you, then also using that as your classroom.
Absolutely.
You know, and so, and I stay in that place. You know, I feel like I have accomplished a lot in my life as a performer. There's still so much more that I want to do for sure, but I stay in that place of like learning and listening and watching.
That's important. I mean, first of all, I think finding places where you can learn or putting yourself, like you said, in the right rooms. Yeah, that's important. And then when you're there, you have to understand where you are on the totem pole.
Absolutely.
Like, you're not the teacher right now. You're the learner right now.
Right. Like, shut up.
Yeah. A lot of people get themselves kicked out of the rooms. And it's not because you don't have talent or you don't know something. Yeah. But you didn't arrive there to teach. Like, that's not where you are yet. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You'll get there if you spend enough time there. But I remember being in a room writing sessions with Israel Houghton. Yeah. And I think that he's a freak of nature when it comes to like that, because if you look at his catalog, you kind of could see that. But like, one of the things I ask a lot of questions around him, like, yo, how many sessions do you do? Like, how often are you writing? Because I'm like curious, like, what is your approach work wise? Because if you don't understand it, you won't understand how to get to a couple of 300 songs in a catalog. You won't know that. And you'll think it's impossible, probably. You know what I'm saying? But like, literally being in a place with the right people and asking the right questions. Yes. So I'm glad you said that. Yeah. So continue. I mean, you did a bunch of stuff. I've gotten to see you in,
I know.
Shrek.
Yes, you saw me in Shrek. You saw, I think y'all saw Color Purple on tour, right?
No.
Oh, no, y'all came to Broadway.
On Broadway,
Okay, yeah.
We met Cynthia.
Yes.
How was
Danielle.
Danielle. How was that? Because that was like one of my favorite things to see you in.
Yeah, the Color Purple was great. It was the revival. We opened. We're coming up on our 10 years next month. December, I think it's December 15th. 2015 was when we opened, and it was the Broadway debut of Cynthia Erivo, who's ridiculous right now. You know, she's like,
but when we saw her, we were like, oh, she's a star.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
people people knew. People
Yeah.
knew once that, and that's the thing. When we first opened, our leading ladies were Cynthia Erivo, Danielle Brooks, and Jennifer Hudson.
Yeah.
And Jennifer, of course, was already mega. And who, by the way, is a very dear friend of mine. I love her so much, and she's everything that you think she is. She's a sweetie pie.
She seemed like she's a real person.
She is. She's a real person. And then Danielle Brooks was playing Sophia, and I love Danielle. And Danielle was still doing Orange is the New Black, so she has some notoriety. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But here's this Cynthia Erivo girl from the UK. Nobody really knew who she was.
But voice was flawless.
Voice was crazy. And she had done The Color Purple in London at the Chocolate Factory. Okay. Yes, with John Doyle, who was our director. And that's, I think, I don't want to misspeak, but I believe that was one of the things that was a part of his thing, was like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to bring this young lady with me.
Well, it was amazing. I mean, I got to see the first iteration of it with Fantasia. So I took my mom to see it because my cousin used to sing with Fantasia. So we had a relationship with Fantasia. So we went, it was good. It wasn't bad. It was good. Yeah. But this one, what I saw, I think I read that they had stripped it down and made it like more about just the story and the music.
Buddy, every time we walked into our rehearsal space, there were less and less props. We were like, what is going on? John left us with some chairs and some blankets and a Bible.
And y'all got to sell this.
And make it work.
But it was effective, though.
Well, I mean, John is, people call him a minimalist or whatever. I don't know if that's what he considers himself, but I remember having a conversation with him, and he was just like, we need to get back into people tapping into their imagination. And that was important for him to say. We don't need to spoon feed people, right? We're actors, we're performers. He gave us the example of, like, I think he watched his grandchildren, they were playing in the bedroom, and one of them put a sheet around their shoulders and put something on their head. He said, I'm the king. And he was the king with just a sheet and a paper towel holder or whatever. And he was like, and he believed he was the king, and he was performing. He was like, yeah, we need to be kings with this Bible and these two chairs and this one blanket. And it was effective. It made the audience really hone into the storytelling, what we were saying, and what we were doing, as opposed to all the extra pomp and circumstances, what he used to call it. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's,
that's what Broadway's built on.
It's lights, it's smoke, it's all and those things are beautiful, right? And they work, but for this particular production, I believe that's why it was so special, because he did strip it down so much, and he really was intentional about the storytelling. So and that was great. And we ran for I think a year and some change. I took over the role of Sophia when Danielle left, which was great. And then we did the tour, and they offered me the tour, Sophia on the tour. So we toured, for about a year. I believe it was a year and a couple months. And we ended our tour in New Jersey, which was so which was like, chef's kiss.
That's dope. That's dope.
Color Purple is definitely one of the shows that will always have a place in my heart. We met so many people. So many people came through there to see the show. And Auntie O, we call her Auntie O, Oprah came through, and she was one of our producers, and she was great. And it was surreal. It was a great time.
What was your favorite show you've done so far? Because I know you.
So far, I do have to say, and I'm trying to be unbiased about this, but I think my favorite, and I don't know if anything's going to top this for a while, has been Shout Sister Shout, where I played Sister Rosetta
Tharpe. When we came to Seattle to see you.
The godmother of rock and roll.
Yeah, which is an important story.
It's so important. And I believe Lizzo was about to do a feature film with it. And then there's other things popping up. I'm just glad that she is getting the recognition that she deserves. A lot of people don't know her name, but they know her music. They wouldn't know that Rosetta Tharpe had anything to do with, some of the music that they listen to now.
Some of the more popular people that you think that they
absolutely.
made the music that they did, and they didn't.
And they stole, from her. But
which I feel like that's Beyonce's mission right now, is to kind of like really say, this is ours, take this back. This is
absolutely.
So
100%. She mentioned Rosetta's name at, I think, an awards acceptance or something like that, and I looked it up, and I think the Google search for Rosetta Tharpe went up by a billion or something. It was something outrageous, So I'm glad that she's starting to get her due with that. But I did a production of that in Seattle with you and Celicia came out to see. I was like, oh, my friends came out to Seattle.
Amazing. That was amazing. It was worth it.
And we also did a production of it at Ford's Theater in DC. Okay. Yeah.
That's cool, man. I mean, it's amazing to, again, this is a journey, right?
Yeah.
So, there was something special that I remember Jerry telling me about this Shrek thing you did. About like a microphone or something and all this stuff like that. Because what did you play in Shrek?
So I was I was Shrek's mom, and I was also Dragon.
Dragon, right? Yeah.
So the story with that is, Shrek was my first professional anything when it came to, and I remember going and auditioning. I got the part. I didn't realize how big of a move that was for me, being somebody who had not trained, had not had anything really on my resume at that point. And I booked the first national tour. So that means they were on Broadway, and now they were going to send it out into the world. And the really special thing about that was that on Broadway, Dragon had a song called Donkey Pot Pie that she would sing. And after they cast me in it, I got a phone call, and they basically said, so we're writing you a new song.
Wow.
This
is Disney?
This was DreamWorks.
Oh, DreamWorks.
This is DreamWorks.
Yeah. Okay,
and so I was like, okay. So I met with the writers, and we in the studio in New York, and we kind of closed in this room and like workshop these lyrics and the music and everything. I was just like, oh my God, what is my life? And so for the song Forever was birthed, and which is the song that most people, if you license the show out now, that's the song that is on there. So when you look it up on Apple Music or whatever, I'm the one singing
I'm gonna
it.
Look that up.
Yeah, go look that up.
I didn't know you had the Apple on there.
Yeah, so
good.
So I sang Forever, and also with that. They also sent me to London because they were opening up their show in London, and they didn't have anybody at the time that was playing Dragon.
Okay, wow.
And so they were like, we have this huge PR event, and we would like to send you out to London. I was like, oh my God.
Oh, I'd love to go.
What is this? Do I, they're like, do you have a passport?
Cheerio.
They're right, cheerio. They were like, do you have a passport? I was like, yeah, I think I have a passport. I don't know if I had a passport, if I had to get one. Right, exactly. I was like, oh, we're going to work this out.
I'm from Trenton.
Right.
You can get it right in Trenton.
So I went, it was my first time out of the country.
Wow.
In terms of like doing work.
Yeah.
I had gone to like to Haiti to visit my husband's place of birth or whatever.
Right.
But like, as far as doing
work.
out, go international. I was like, ooh. So yeah, Shrek was very, very special in that way. So, and the creators, I have to name them, is Janine Tesori, who's huge in the musical theater world, and David Lindsay-Abaire, who's an author, and he does feature films and stage stuff.
Wow.
So yeah, so I got to work with them, and like that was crazy.
That's great, man.
Yeah.
So one of the things, so you bring up things that I kind of want to highlight, because one of the reasons for the podcast is to really like be something that we didn't have. Like we didn't really have like a bunch of resources. We had them in college.
Yeah.
But if we hadn't gone to Westminster, I mean, how many things we wouldn't have got. So, but it's just really a resource, especially in these days where there's so much easy things that people can get access to. One of the things I think they don't get to build is character.
Yeah.
And so like you can go learn chops all day. I mean, like the best musicians are posting, and you can go say, oh, he did that, take that, or whatever. And that's amazing because that access is there. And we didn't have that. But but then I think, there's character that goes with that. There's work,
100%.
there's work ethic and like how you approach it. And so you said a couple of things that I've been talking to my mentor about. One of them being networking.
Yeah.
So tell us how did you get a manager agent? How did you do that?
Well, that came from, I was in the process of, I will not name the show, but I was in the process of auditioning for this show. And I was in a 9-month process with this one show. They kept calling me back. And this is when I was still living in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And I was flying back and forth on my own dime. Okay. And my poor husband, because we did not have money like that. But my husband was like, we're going to make it work,
Good,
Yeah.
Well, y'all both artists. So
he understood. Right.
Yeah.
And so during one of the callbacks that I had, there was a young lady who was there. And I think at this point we had maybe seen each other like twice. And so we got to talking. And so I told her, she asked me about myself and what I was doing. And long story short, she was just like, oh, you might really like my manager. And, and she has this intensive that she does. And she brings in other agents and people that work in the business and stuff like that. And I'm sure she would love to talk to you. And I was just like, okay. So when I flew back home, I got on the phone with Susan. And by this time, my husband and I had already decided that we were moving back to New Jersey. Gotcha. I was like, this is a thing. Because I was in this process with this other show. And I was like, I think I'm going to book it. Yeah. I think I'm going to get it. Because they keep calling me back. And so at this time, I would come back and I would be looking for schools for the kids and like where we're going to live. And so while I was back in Tulsa, I had a phone call with my now manager, Susan, and I basically auditioned for her over the phone. Wow. So she was like, oh my God, I want you to come to this intensive. And so when I got back, I went to her 3-day intensive and she had different agents there. She had directors and voiceover people and, just a beautiful like hodgepodge of different people that sit on the other side of the table in this business and that can really give you some constructive, criticism. And by the end of the 3 days, she said, Carrie, I would love to manage you if you are open to that. And so we talked about it and I signed on with her, amazing. So that's how I got my manager.
And that, I mean, it's important to have people who believe in you in this business.
Absolutely.
In any business, I think, but especially entertainment. So I'm sure that's been fruitful.
Oh, it's been absolutely fruitful. And she also has been when we talk about representation in this business, most agents, managers, they have other clients as well, right? So they're sort of juggling all of these careers and trying to put everybody out, know. But one thing I can say about my manager is that she has been somebody who has been so ride or die for me. She submitted me for things that in the breakdown, it might say white woman, blonde hair, blue eye, and Carrie can do that.
Carrie can do white.
Right. Well, no, like true story. I will give you a true story. So there was a show that was coming to Showtime. And the breakdown was not me at all. Right. But she was like, Carrie, I'm going to submit you anyway because, listen, we're going to get you. We're going to get you on here. And so it was the role of a prostitute.
Wow.
Yeah. And so, and I have my, limits. My limits. Like there's certain things I know that, I don't feel comfortable doing or whatever. But I read it and I was just like, okay, I think this is cool. And so before I went to my audition, I was like, I can't believe I'm going to audition for this thing. But before I went, I live in a world where you have to keep your hair in a prep, hair in a prep, right? And so I wear a lot of wigs. I have wigs for days. And so while I was there, I remember me and Jerry were in the bedroom and I was like, okay, I'm getting ready to go for this audition, whatever. And I was going over my lines and I snatched my wig off, right? And Jerry laughed. And I was like,
this might work.
This might work.
It was a good workshop.
Well, I walk into the room where they're holding all the young ladies who are coming in to audition for it, and they're all like tall and thin and not me at all. And I am the only one that is me, right? And I was just like, oh my God. And I'm like, okay, Carrie, get focused, whatever. So I was intentional. I was like, I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna snatch this wig off.
Yeah.
I'm going to do something that's going to make them remember me.
Exactly.
Not just because I'm different than everybody else that's been it, but like, so I
do
go
something
in.
that you got to pay attention to.
You got to pay attention to it. So I go in, I do my audition, and when I'm saying my line, I snatch my wig off and I keep going. And there are 2 people in there. There's a casting agent and then there's like an associate.
Okay.
And they're filming this. And so they died.
Yeah.
To the point where they had to stop recording and I had to redo the audition because they were she was like, do that same thing and we're just gonna stay really quiet,
Right. They interrupted
and I was like, oh my God, this worked, and I booked it.
Wow.
I booked it. And I was like,
because you showed them something else.
Because I saw, but also my manager believed that I could do this thing. Even though the breakdown said something else, she was just like, no, I'm going to submit you.
Yeah.
And you're going to go in there and you're going to do your thing. And it was up to me to do the work, right?
Yeah.
I had to find out who my character was and how I wanted to show up in that room.
Right.
But, my manager would call me and be like, can you play the ukulele?
Do you have a harmonica?
Do you have a harmonica?
Do you know how to play it?
And I'm like, I remember when she submitted me for Holler, she was like, do your rap. Do you know any rap songs? I was like, I know some. I'm not a rapper, but I know some. She was like, okay, I'm submitting you.
As long as you can.
As long as
do something.
You understand? Right. And I went in there with the corny. Well, it's not corny. I mean, back in the day, it was great, but I was like, lottie dottie, we like to body.
Yeah,
we don't
but you
cause
got
trouble.
The vibe, though.
You understand? I understood it, and
because I think in those places, they know what they have to offer in terms of if it's coaching or teaching.
Sure, yeah.
But they know that you got to have something.
You got to have some
with.
foundation. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I was like,
and your manager knows that.
And my manager knows that, and I love her for that. She is forever like ride or die. So I think that's been also a huge part of me being able to do what I do in this business is having a team that really, really, really believes in me. And she has other clients and things like that, and they all love her too. But I feel like I'm the only one.
Yeah.
And that's rare in this business. So
that's amazing. That's amazing. I mean, so that's also one of the things that my mentor talked about. Yeah. Having a team. Yeah. Because you're not going to get there by yourself.
No. And you need people.
That networking and team is like two things that you need.
Yeah.
Tell us now, you worked with, again, you talked about some iconic people you worked with. What was that like? Like, what was it like working with Cynthia or Jennifer or Danielle? Like, I know they're bringing their own professional experience to the table as well. So,
I mean, working with people like them was me sitting down, shutting up, and just watching, the magic happen, and listening to. I'm so glad that I got like a front row seat to watching not only the talent but also the creative team, right? Because what you see is the talent on the stage and the people singing and acting and doing all that stuff, but what you don't see is the creative team behind the project that really has helped to shape this thing. And so what was also great for me is like watching them as professionals, the talent, be able to sit back and learn too, and see how they learn and see how they are able to take direction. And I've been in places where I've worked with some very famous people who I gotta be careful. I don't know where this is gonna go in the world. But I've been in some spaces and places where there have been some people who wanted to direct the thing themselves.
Wow. Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or thought that they had better ideas than the creative team. And that happens.
And sometimes but
you do have a better idea. Sometimes you do have especially actors that have really taken time with their character development and sort of like and know how they want to sort of go into this scene or this work or whatever. And then you're working with somebody who wasn't in your brain when you came up with all that. So, and they don't understand what you're trying to bring across. But ultimately, our job is to tell the story that's on the page and also paint the picture that the director and the creative team is trying to create. Most times I have been in positions where the creative team have been collaborative, right? But to walk into a space expecting that my voice is going to carry some weight, don't set yourself up. Because you still have to respect the work and the bricks that were laid down before you even got there. Right. And so it's been great for me to see some major people, especially in the musical theater world, like Tanya Pinkins, who won the Tony for Doubt. Like working with her, she was in Holler as well, and seeing how she sort of navigated the space. And she's somebody that I look at and I'm like, she's been in this business for years. Like, who's going to tell her anything, you know? But seeing how she can sit there, and she's a director herself, but seeing how she can take the information and, okay, I got what you, this is what you want. Okay. And still be transformative, even if she has her own ideas about things. And I think that's an art too. Is being able to take somebody's vision and still having your ideas and how to layer those things on so that nobody's offended.
Right. No, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And still making everybody feel like, oh, I'm a team player. I'm in this for, the
together.
Big picture.
It's not just you. But I can also add. Or like you said later. I love that. That was good.
Absolutely. So for me, it's been great to see. It's been great to see the good, the bad, and the ugly from all of these, from different artists that I've worked with. It's all been learning for me. I've seen some people just act the fool. Yeah. And you're like, and you're still working?
Right.
What?
Right.
It's the business,
like on both sides.
Yeah.
What was your least, or what was your worst day like, or worst experience like in this business?
I would say my worst experience in this business to date has nothing to do with anybody that I worked with. It had everything to do with logistics and where I was at the time. So I was doing a contract for Disney on The Wish, and I was playing Ursula. And I got the phone call that my dad passed away. Wow. And I was in the middle of the ocean. And you ain't got no helicopter. What am I going to do? That was probably my worst experience as far as like working, being away from home, and not being able to get to where I needed to get to when I needed to get there. Right. But thank God I was just surrounded by a wonderful company and cast and crew, and like everybody was so like amazing. And then all my family that was still at home, they were, my husband was like, babe, we got you. It's all good, So that was probably my worst experience, like being at work and hearing that my father passed away and not being able to get to him, feeling completely like helpless. Like, what do I do? But like, if there was an incident that I can recall in terms of like people that I've worked with or whatever, I do have to say, and I'm not just saying this, I've been really blessed to work with some amazing people. Like overall, I can't even say like I had like, people could be crazy. They just don't show me they're crazy. I don't get the personal attack crazy. Right. I can observe crazy and I can see it happening to other people. But I feel like I've walked into spaces and places and just shown up authentically as me, and people have for the most part just respected that. Yeah. And I don't get into people's business. You know what I mean? Right. I show up, I do my work, and then if there's any significant amount of time, you develop relationships with your cast members and stuff like that. And I have beautiful, long lasting relationships from years ago. And so there are things that I've seen and experienced, and but nothing that I think was like, oh God, this was the worst day ever at work.
Yeah.
You know,
have you ever had a performance that just didn't go?
Oh, I had plenty of Oh, well, how long do we have? Man, maybe I shouldn't say this out loud, but there was this one, oh gosh, it was during Color Purple, and there was a very serious scene. And for some reason, I had Siri thought I was talking to her. Something happened. I don't know what it was, and I broke. And I'm laughing. And I don't know if you know, like those laughs that are so deep that you can't make a sound, but just tears start coming. And I was like, so I got to figure out how to play this because I'm laughing. My body is shaking. Yeah. And I was like, how do I play this scene? And there's tears. I said, I got to lean into this or whatever. And I know there's a line that I'm about to have to say. And if I have to open up my mouth, I'm not going to be able to say what I need to say because I'm so...
You're there.
This laugh got a chokehold on me. Right. You understand? This giggle got a gag on me. You understand? And so I'm standing there and my co-laborer on the stage is just looking at me. And I'm like... And then he starts laughing.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we shut it down for about 10 minutes on stage. And I was like, I'm getting so fired for this. I'm getting written up. Somebody's going to get in trouble. Like, I'm getting so fired for this. But then people behind stage started laughing. I don't even know what it was, but I just could not get it together. But I have to say, like, when we got through it and I felt so bad because I was like, oh, you're supposed to be a professional. And how could you break like that? And for so long, like,
right.
The scene went on for like an extra 10 minutes because at one point, neither one of us could get it together. It was a mess. But you know, there have been moments like that, and there have been moments where I've gone to sing something in a note. Don't ask me. I was singing in the key of Z somewhere. I'm like, where am I? There are times where, you know, I've gone up on my lines, like forgotten, like, you know. There was one time in particular where, I don't know if you remember in Color Purple, so we had these baskets and we would set them at the edge of the stage sometimes. Mm-hmm. And one of the people in the audience decided to pick it up and move it.
Oh, wow.
Because the basket was in their way. Right. And I was like...
I can't see.
Right, exactly.
I paid for this seat.
Exactly. I paid good money for this seat.
Exactly.
And I'm sitting there and we're like, oh my God, what do we do? Because they moved it, but it was the baskets were strategically placed, right? Of course. So we have to go in and grab things and put them back and whatever. And so, but I felt like the Trenton in me rising because I was like, how dare you touch my stage prop? So I had to gather myself up. But yeah, I've definitely had those moments where I was doing Shout Sister Shout at Ford's Theater in DC. And, you know, I had to play the guitar in that. Mm-hmm. And I got real happy one day. And I did this last chord and I went bling. And I cut my finger all the way up. I was bleeding.
Wow.
But I had to go right from that scene into a studio scene. Oh. There was no coming off stage or whatever. So I'm literally, the lights go dark for like a millisecond. I'm shucking my finger and then I'm like trying to squeeze the thing. And then, oh my God, it was a mess. I was bleeding but we were still going. Yeah, we were still going. You're on. And I was trying to find things to like wrap my finger up. I went to go grab the guy who's in front of me. He had this suit on and he had this little pocket napkin. Okay. So I went to go grab it. I was like, oh, I'll use that. And I went to go grab it and didn't know that it was sewn in. So I'm like...
It's like a comedy gag.
Exactly.
It's not working.
Exactly. It's not working. And he's like, what are you doing? It was a mess. And then finally I ripped some tissue paper off of a box and just wrapped my finger up and did the scene. I kept the scene didn't stop. We kept going. All of this comedy was happening, but the scene did not stop. And then finally, that scene was over. I was like, oh my God. And I still didn't leave the stage. I didn't leave the stage a lot for that show. I was on the stage for the whole show.
The set changed around you.
And then the woman that plays play my mom, Carol Dennis, she came out with a Band-Aid because they figured it out.
Yeah.
They're like, I think she bleeding.
What's
Right. What is happening? And so she came out with a Band-Aid, and I put the Band-Aid on and still stayed in the scene, you know? Yeah. But like having to stay on top of stuff like that, you know, in the midst of like this chaos. But it's like, it's live theater. And it's like, and that's the good stuff to me. Yeah, that's the good stuff.
That's what makes it unique. You know? Yeah. It's crazy. My best friend, he's an actor, and it's. I remember when you went to Seattle. I'm like, oh, Warner did a joint in Seattle because the same thing. It's like those regional theaters and how they break shows and all that. Just learning that process, like from both of you guys, has been amazing. I saw both of y'all in something. Y'all were both in. There was a stage space on what street is that? 42nd Street?
42nd Street, okay.
Yeah, I saw you guys both there one day. I was there to see something. I was there to see you or him, one of them, but you both were doing something there, I think, at the same time.
Was it at one of the studios?
It was like, it was like a
rehearsal
theater. No, it was a theater.
Was it in the basement?
I don't know if it was in the basement, but I don't know. You
wonder
were there, and
if
there
it was the
another
Beachman
thing happening there.
Okay. Was there a restaurant on top? No, you don't know.
No, but it's like right off the Lincoln Tunnel when you make a left right onto 42nd. It's like right there on the left.
think that's the Laura Beachman.
Yeah,
I think that's the
so.
Beachman.
It's like it had several studios in there. Like
studios, so then there was something
studios.
different.
I meant like what do you mean? Like theaters?
Yeah, this theaters and then there were a couple theaters. Okay, so that was something else. I don't know.
I have a picture. I have the picture with you and Warner.
Okay, I gotta look at it then.
There. But anyway, so I mean, there's so much we could talk about. Musically, so have you ever had the desire to record? Because I mean, obviously you have recorded on projects, whatever. Like, what do you say about that?
That's something that I'm asked a lot in terms of like, what about the music? Your music. If I'm being honest, I see myself eventually maybe doing a record of some sort, or some kind of I don't know if it'll be an album, maybe just like a little,
a couple,
a little EP, a couple singles on there, whatever. But being like a recording artist has never been something that was like a desire for me. I love to sing, I love it, and it's a part of what I do, you know. But being a recording artist, because I have been able to actually have a perspective on that too, like seeing some of my friends who are doing like all the things they're trying to act and record and make albums and stuff like that, and some of them are doing it with finesse and like and some are like struggling. It's hard. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And people are like, well, things are a little bit easier now with social media and you can just kind of put your stuff out, whatever. I'm like, I don't know that game. I'm not up on it like that. My husband knows way more than I do because he actually produces and records and stuff. But like, I just don't know that I have the passion for like actually being a recording artist. What do I have the passion to sing? Absolutely. But everything that goes along, and that's what I'm talking about, like the business of it. I think a lot of people, they don't think about the business of being an artist, whether you're an actor, a performer, or somebody that is a recording artist, or, any other form of art.
In between.
And I'm like, I don't know if I want to get involved in the business of it. It's a lot. And I respect people that do it. I look at Jennifer. Me and Jerry just went to visit her. Well, not just, but we went last December because she had her holiday album tour, and she was in Vegas. I think Vegas was her last stop, and we went to go visit with her out there. And I mean, Jen was just like crazy. Like, I'm like, girl, like you just like, dang. It was amazing to watch her and to see her and see, but there's even Jennifer, she has to promote, she has to put stuff out there. She has her own talk show. She has, all of these things that she's an actor herself, all of these things that she has to juggle, and she has an amazing team. Amazing team. But I look at her, I'm like, girl, you are busy.
Yeah.
And I just don't know if I want to sign up for that
yeah.
life. You know, I know that what I'm passionate about is acting and being on stage, film, screen, and kind of continuing to pursue that. But yeah, recording, I don't know. I mean, maybe down the line. Ask me in 2-3 years. I'm gonna be like, yes, I'm ready to do an album.
Right.
I'm ready. But yeah, right now I'm cool on it.
Nah, I hear that. It's funny, like when we went to see you at in The Color Purple, you showed us your dressing room and stuff, and then I run into people that I know, like Jenny Harney was there,
my Pookie.
and I met Saquon at when Warner did the premiere for American Gangster.
Oh,
she was in American
yes.
Gangster.
Yep.
So
yep.
and then she's on what's that show she's on now?
Wonder Years.
The Wonder Years. I'm like, this is crazy.
Yep.
But it's so dope to see people in their journey.
Oh,
because
absolutely.
It's just really dope to kind of be a part of that, I'm sure.
Yes.
From your perspective.
Absolutely.
If you had to choose one, what would be your favorite? TV, film, or stage? I mean, you don't have to, but I mean,
you know, this is. I'm really working right now to really do more TV film stuff. Okay. I just did a short film that's now it's in the running to it has Oscar eligibility, which I'm very excited about. And it's won a bunch of awards. But I do see myself shifting more to TV film. Okay. But my heart is, I could not choose one or the other because my heart really is on the stage. Mm-hmm. I've learned so much. And I would even venture to say that the stage, being a stage actor, has helped to develop me in a way that I know had I started in TV film, I probably would not be who I am as an actor today. Okay. It's a different kind of discipline, which it's funny to me because I think a lot of people, they feel that the medium of TV and film is broader, right? Mm-hmm. Nobody has to come to see a TV show or come to see a film. You can go to your local theater. You can turn on your TV. You can open up your phone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. But you have to be intentional about theater. If you are somebody that loves theater, you have to go and see it and invest in a way that you can pause a TV show. You can pause it. Exactly. Tomorrow. But you have to be invested in that. Absolutely. And so there's a beauty in performing live in front of people who are invested. Yeah. Who have made the investment to come out to Journey to sit in that seat and go on this ride with you for 2.5 hours, whatever it is. Wow. And there's a discipline that comes along with that because you have to, you can do 300, 400 performances of the same show. Yeah. How do you keep that fresh? Yeah. How do you keep it new?
How do you keep it fresh? How do you keep it new?
I think the answer to that is, for me, it's about honoring the story. It's about being truly integrous about my work. Yeah. And I'm not just saying that to sound like a Kaka Sadidi or anything like that, but really, when I was in Shrek and I was playing, Tweedledee, and I had to wear this goofy suit and a clown suit, I was committed to that, and also committed to making sure that the person that is sitting in the seat that I'm sort of bringing this to has an experience. Yeah. And that's important. Like we can perform for ourselves in the shower or you can go, sing to yourself in the mirror if it's all about you. Yeah. But it really is about the people that are coming and investing their time and spending their money. Like tickets for theater are crazy.
Oh, absolutely.
They're crazy. And it's like that person deserves to get the fresh me as much as I possibly can. And am I always at 100%? No. Sometimes you get sick. Sometimes it's, you're tired, doing 8 shows a week on Broadway is no joke, it's a lot of work, but that's the thing that, makes me want to be the best that I can possibly be often on stage, taking care of myself off stage so that when I get on stage, I'm doing my job and I'm doing what I came to do. You want everybody to walk away with the experience of like, yo, I don't know what else is going on in this show, but that one right there, she gave it to us, and left no crumbs, and
absolutely.
that's my goal every time.
That's great. That's great. What's next?
What's next? Well, actually, I'm heading off to Toronto in a couple weeks.
Okay.
I have another contract with Disney. I have a potential opportunity coming up. I can't talk about it. We can talk about it off camera.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. You guys won't hear about it. You'll hear about it if and when it happens. And then we'll talk about it.
Then we can talk about it.
Yeah.
I just did a reading for a new musical a couple weeks ago, and that is going to transfer to a theater here in New Jersey in the early spring. And so as of right now, I might be doing that. They sent me an offer, so I was like, okay. So I got a couple of fires burning,
That's cool.
and always I stay auditioning. Right. Like even when you book something, you gotta keep the balls going.
Now, do you only audition for stuff as a singer, actor, or just whatever?
No, I audition for straight plays. And again, there's not too many singing parts for TV and film, so I'm always submitting for straight acting, commercials, stuff like that. So yeah, I'm like all over the board with that.
What would be the ideal? Like, is there a show now that you're like, yo, if I can get in that show, that would be ideal, or either Broadway, TV, film, streaming, whatever?
There's a couple shows that I see, and I'm just like, yo, I would love to have been on that, or I would love to get on that show. What comes to mind for me though, I'll do stage is like I would love to see a revival of Ain't Misbehaving on Broadway. To me, the music, the characters.
Is that Fats Waller?
That's Fats Waller. Yeah. And it's that ragtime music, and it's I think it's a music. It's a flow of music that we've gotten so far away from.
Yeah.
And when it comes to pop culture,
that
used to be the kind of music that everybody listened to.
That
was a pop culture.
Absolutely.
And so I think like sort of a resurgence of that
would be cool.
For people to hear that again. And then the story, I mean, there's no real story to it. It's, these 5 people kind of singing this music, but it was, it's a beautiful, the movement of it is beautiful to me. And the only other time I've gotten to do it was when I did community theater many, many moons ago. Yeah. And so I'm like, man, I would love to revisit that show. But there's a lot of stuff that, I mean, of course, like, I think I could kill a role on Bridgerton, like somewhere. Just
I think so
like
too.
Bridgerton, I could throw the accent on.
Shonda.
I'm pretty good. Hello. I couldn't even tell you like, there's a lot. Of shows out. Almost too many, I think.
It's only going to keep growing.
It's only going to keep growing, like with the streaming services.
All of almost every studio is going to have a studio in New Jersey in the next 2 years.
Oh yeah, I mean,
everybody's going to be here.
Well, the big Netflix
is
studios,
here.
Fort Monmouth.
I think Lionsgate will be here.
I think Paramount is doing something.
I think is going to be here.
Yeah,
so,
it's going to.
I mean, it's going to be crazy.
It's going to be.
Atlanta, y'all
crazy.
had y'all time. Tyler Perry, y'all did y'all thing, but now New Jersey is about to step themselves back up.
I mean, it's going to be wild.
It's going to be. I mean, listen.
Wild.
I mean, you still got to make the connection, but at least you're here. You know what I'm saying? You're right here at home, so in your backyard.
Absolutely.
But man, listen, I love to follow your career. I mean, of course, knowing where you started from, we started together, so it's amazing. But tell us. Just encourage like somebody that's just starting. Like they don't know what to do. They like, I don't know, where do I get an audition? And I mean, obviously there's resources.
Yeah.
But like I would say, what's the encouragement you would give? And like, I'm sure you inspire your children. Like I know they're doing their thing too. So what are some things that you give as far as wisdom of your experience and getting into this business or any type of entertainment?
I would say tap into whatever you have locally. There are a lot of places that do have community theaters. They're smaller theaters. Their budgets are not huge, but they give you an opportunity to exercise your gift.
Yeah.
Right. So invest in your local theaters, become a part of community theater. And let me backtrack and say, first thing I would say is be teachable.
Yeah.
That is so important. If you already think you got it all together, you're not going to do well.
Right.
You're just not going to do well.
Right.
First of all, everybody think they smart.
Right.
So, y'all.
My 7-year-old niece is smart.
Yeah. Well,
but she don't know how smart she is and how much smart she isn't.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So there's still time for some humility there. The shaping of her.
Absolutely.
But then that goes back to what you were saying about character. You never want to allow your gift to take you into rooms where your character won't keep you.
Absolutely.
So I would say be teachable, be humble, be quiet sometimes. Just know how to be quiet and observe and listen and take information in. If there are classes that you can take them.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily, I don't tell people you have to go to college or whatever. Right. I didn't go to school for
but
this.
You got to learn your craft.
But I had to learn my craft.
Absolutely.
And I had to grab the opportunities that I had to go looking for things.
Yeah.
I had to, again, intentionality. You have to be intentional. So I would say for those that are like, I don't know where to start locally. Yeah. Find if there's a church basement that's doing little, plays or whatever, get a vocal coach. Get an acting coach. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
Go on YouTube.
Just find somebody who's done more than you.
Yes. Find somebody who is smarter than you are and get as much as you can. And then there are all kinds of resources online. Yeah. There's playbill.com. There's Backstage. And people are looking for auditions. ActorsEquity.com. There's all kinds of websites you can go to, casting networks, Actors Access. There's a bunch of sites out there where you can find auditions. People that are trying to get TV film and they're like, I'm not really a theater person, but I want to get involved in TV film. Go be an extra.
Yeah.
Go be an extra. It doesn't pay a lot, but get on the sets.
Yeah, or just be there.
Take up some space. Start networking.
Yeah.
Start, we talked about networking. Be the one that they know, I know I can call on David because he's going to show up and put this costume on and drink some coffee.
Yeah.
And, start to get into the spaces, and create your opportunities for yourself.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
I think Terry Crews told the story like that or something like that, being on the set of like, I want to say Training Day or something. It was somebody that was talking about being on the set of Training Day and then how it developed into more opportunity just from being there or being
just
security there. Or
being there.
Because that's the biggest thing people don't understand. If you can get there, then there's opportunities all over.
And they always need extras. They need extras everywhere. There's a documentary about the Game of Thrones. And they did a feature on one of the extras.
Wow.
Because he has been there from the beginning and he didn't ask for nothing.
Right.
He's just like, I want to be a part of this. And so if I'm in the background and then he got promoted to like one of the lead guards and he's living his best life as an extra, and I'm sure he's built enough in terms of relationship with some people that if he did want to do something more, he now has access.
Or they know him. Yeah. Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So I think jumping out into a space where you think that you're just going to be the star automatically and not really understanding that there's some work that goes into that.
There's some rookie years. There's some
grinding and there were times where I had to get up at 3:00 in the morning and catch an early train from Trenton and go up to New York and stand in line just to be seen.
Yeah.
all day.
Just to be rejected.
Just to be rejected, babe. I'm telling you, because when I was an equity actor, I would still go to the equity auditions. But they're not required to see you.
Right.
And I would stay. There were times I would stay in line all day up until 6:00, and they're just like, sorry, we had to get our equity people in.
Right.
And that happened multiple times.
But you gotta
press.
have to accept that this is part of paying those dues.
It's a part of paying the dues.
It doesn't last forever if you continue to do it, if you do it enough.
Exactly.
One of the things I remember, and I don't know if you were there, but we went to see Kim Burrell at one of her when she was on Tommy Boy, and she released her live album.
Yeah.
And one of the things she said to the crowd, I think we had it on recording somewhere. She said, even if you're just singing at your family reunion, keep singing at the family reunion. She said, like, do whatever you're doing, like master wherever you are.
Master where you are.
Because if you don't understand that, there's lessons already where you are.
Yeah.
And if you don't get that, then it won't help you to be at the next level, because you can sabotage everything.
And that's one of the things. I had a conversation with my daughter, who's a performer now. She just had her first professional gig. She went out and auditioned, and I was like, yes, my baby. But we were having a conversation, and, basically just saying how you also don't want to be somewhere prematurely.
Right. Absolutely.
Right. Because there can be a space made that you can take up, and you're not ready to be there yet. You don't know how to handle that. So yes, master where you are. Yeah. Understand that. Know how to talk to people.
Yeah.
Know how to show up on time.
Oh, yeah.
My God.
The basics.
Yeah. Know how to manage your time well. Know how to, people want to be stars, but they don't want to get up in the morning, or they're late to everything. Bruh,
I used to be late.
It's a problem. Are you still late to everything?
Absolutely not.
Amen.
Absolutely not. I had to learn. Like when you get to different levels, it's not acceptable.
No.
Other levels, you won't be there long.
Especially somebody writing a check to you.
Absolutely.
What?
Absolutely.
No.
Absolutely. I mean, you gotta just. It's a responsibility to be in any level of excellence. It's a responsibility.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And so you have to understand that.
Yeah.
We could talk for hours.
I know.
I appreciate you being here.
Man, this was so good. Thank you, Samar.
Thank you so much.
I really appreciate you.
And you will see Carrie everywhere. She'll be on your screens and your Broadway shows everywhere. So, amazing performer.
Thank you.
Always enjoyed everything I saw you in. So
thank you, brother. I'm sure I appreciate you.
All the people did too. So
I hope so.
Thank you so much. And then maybe an EP or a couple songs one day.
Maybe maybe we'll
show
collab.
off this. Oh, absolutely.
Hey.
Oh, you know what I asked you about? And I don't know how this affects your business, but like a lot of conversation now about AI. Because
that's a whole nother hour.
We can go into it.
Yeah, I think long story short with that is I'm glad that so there was a big thing between I think it was SAG-AFTRA. There was a big thing with that, with the union fighting because basically what producers wanted to be able to do is take your image and use it in perpetuity. Your image, your likeness, your voice. Yeah. And so they were using examples of like, we have like the what's the car movie? The Furious of
Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious. So
with the guy,
if Paul Walker, who passed away, which the franchise started using his twin brother. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And they're like, well, if we had access to this, we could just use him and not have to write his character out, not have to. And they're like, no. We're like, absolutely not. So you're going to take my voice, my likeness, and my image and use me, but not use me. Right. And not pay me, And so, AI is a whole, I think there's good and bad in just about everything. AI has been, I don't really use it like that, but I know some people that have been like, I've been in a jam and I didn't know how to write this thing up. Yeah. And I was able to go to Chat GPT or however and ask them, and they were able to, formulate this thing and it helped them out. Yeah. I'm like, great. Yeah. But when you talk about replacing people.
Right. And that's really the challenge that everybody has with it.
Yeah. And it's deep.
But unfortunately it will.
Well, and that's the thing.
Will.
And it will.
I think it can never like I was talking to somebody just probably yesterday. Timbaland, he has an AI artist.
Yes.
So, we're like, well, are we ever going to see the artist perform?
Right.
Or they're going to have a hologram? What they going to do? So that's a thing. And I think when I think about theater,
yes,
I'm like, you can't fake theater.
Well, and that's what I was just talking to my husband about this a couple weeks ago. I think we were talking about this, and I was just like, that's the thing about theater with all of this new world order stuff that's happening and coming into place. You cannot duplicate.
Right.
You can't fake and artificialize live theater.
Right.
Right.
Or live performances.
Live performances of any type. And so that's the thing that I love about.
Although I hear people talking about some performances just karaoke, but go ahead.
Well,
they're like, they're playing, they're just lip syncing, but go ahead.
Well, some people are,
Right.
there's like special mics that are built for people to sound one way.
Wow.
And they're not, it's deep. But I do think eventually, I don't know what's going to happen down the line. I hope I never see this in my lifetime, but I do think eventually they're going to have robots and people that we're seeing stuff now on social media with like there was a thing that I saw the other day, a clip of like this convention. I think it was in China somewhere, or one of the Asian countries, and they had like life size, lifelike people that were like not real, and they're talking to you, and they're moving, and you could still see that they're not real, but I'm like, we're moving at a rate. We're moving at a rate where it's going to be real.
Yeah.
I also saw a clip where this guy was like, he said, and he like creates AI programming.
Wow.
And he was like, he had to stop because he was saying that, and I'm paraphrasing, but he basically said he went to the program and said, if I wanted to destroy you, how would I do it? And the programming answered him in a way that was just like, well, why would you want to do that?
Right.
And all the answers were not like oh, you push this button, da, 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 da. No, it was like, well, why would you want to do that?
Right.
Well, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, see, no.
It's sophisticated.
No. Oh, yeah.
That iRobot movie that Will Smith was in, I feel like we're approaching that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what that's going to be like for performers.
Yeah.
I just saw a gospel #1 AI artist, country AI artist was #1 on some chart.
Ooh.
But it's like it's deceptive. And I mean, and the stuff sounds decent. Like it ain't bad at all.
No,
it doesn't sound like a robot. It
absolutely.
sounds like a real voice. It probably sounds comparable to whatever they learned, but they definitely learned from real voices.
Right. I mean, but also it's to me it's equivalent of somebody that's a subpar artist, but then they get in with a really good tech.
Yeah.
That know how to finagle those buttons and make them sound like something.
Now I sing on pitch all the time. You know what I mean? And that became the sound of the day. But I mean, I just think that there will always be room for real performers. There will always be, I think it may make theater more valuable.
Oh, 100%.
It'll make live performance more valuable.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
We're safe.
For now.
And people who actually put time in their craft will be safe, I think.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I think that's key. Like going back to what you said, master where you are, mastering your skills, always being in a place of learning and getting better, because you have people like Denzel Washington who have been in this business for ever.
Yeah.
I just saw Denzel the other day, not in person, but I saw him like on screen or something. He was doing something. I was just like, he's getting older now.
Yeah.
I didn't realize he was aging. All these years, I didn't realize he was getting older because he's just always been Denzel, and he's always been so great at what he does. So now, I'm like, he's like
he's been that older age for a long time,
forever,
for like 50 years.
Yes,
and now it's like,
now he's one of the older, he's one of the OGs now.
65 or 70,
he's like he's like in his 70s now. I think he's in his 70s.
But
I was like,
but he still looks good. But you could tell
he looks amazing.
70,
but he's so
he's
good
older, I should say,
at what he does as an actor that he's so transformative, and you just like.
You don't even care.
You don't even care. So be that. Be that person.
I saw him in. I took Celicia for her birthday to see Othello.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was great. Celicia's like, she thought it was great, but she also is like, she's an English teacher, so she's like from the purity of Shakespeare. She's like, they missed this. I was like, okay, I'm not a Shakespeare enthusiast, so I don't know what they missed. It was a great performance. But again, he's just a master. So
he's a
master. Me, I think people won't ever not want to see him. Yeah. It seems like he's ready to retire, though. He talks
he
like
has
that.
said that, but he's about to do, I think, the next Black Panther.
He sounds like he's trying to do some legacy things, and also just like get some more checks. You know what I'm saying? Like, and not because he's not doing the work for it or not worth it, but just like, I need to get a couple more dollars, because at some point he won't be able to.
At some point he won't be able to, and I think that he understands mortality in a way that a lot of people don't. But also, like, he's one of those ones that's like, I'm always going to come back to the stage.
Yeah, he loves
the stage. Is what grew him.
Yeah.
100%. So we're gonna keep grinding, bro.
Yeah, hey, listen.
Until the robots take over.
Until the robots, put on Chicago themselves.
Yes.
With dancing robot ladies. But thank you so much.
Thank you.
And again, Carrie Compere. Can they follow you somewhere or something?
Yeah, Carrie Compere. That's it. CarrieCompere.
What platforms?
On Facebook and Instagram.
On the Facebook?
On the Facebook, and I do have a TikTok, but it's very rarely. I just
so don't follow her
daughter.
On TikTok yet.
Don't
not yet.
I mean, if you want to go by there, I might put something. My daughter's been trying. Like, Mom, you gotta be on TikTok. I'm like, I don't want to.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you're working.
Yes,
it's not
I'm
like
trying.
You're like sitting like, what can I do now?
What can I
post? Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people post their life. So you know what I mean? It's like you kind of gotta be comfortable.
Well, and that's a part of it too. Yeah. Like that is now become a part of being an artist now. I mean, honestly, I know I need to do more content because
that's the connection that people want,
Yep.
So
it is a part of being an artist now. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, well, hey, we'll see you.
Yeah, buddy.
All right. Well, thank you. The Musicians Shed Podcast. Follow us and continue to listen. And we'll be back with more stories.
Thanks for listening. To stay up to date between episodes, follow us on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram, and make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel. If you liked what you heard today, or if there's something specific you want us to dive into next, leave us a comment. Catch you in the next episode.